Hmm. Hello, hello. Hey. Okie dokie. I think, okay, so we had this yesterday, so we can now go back to the main menu and set to our loadout decks. There we go. Compile. And that should open up our deck intro. That looks pretty good. Oh yeah, I need to add a button for the save. So let's do that. In our show battle deck. Oh, actually not in the battle deck here. Yeah, it would be in the battle deck. Let's come out of the animation. And we need to just put in a little reminder that use the save button to save your progress, I guess. So let's actually create... should we create a new line or should we just... Let me see how this goes. Do I have enough room here? Yeah, I think I can add in another line. I think so. So let's go ahead and copy this. This should be under this vertical box here. Yeah, so the counter icons are sitting separately and then this. So we can go ahead and add this counter icons into the vertical box. So it sits like that and then add in another text. Yeah, that should be good. It is outside a little, so we can just go ahead and quickly resize this button. Let's reduce the height to about that. Add like a 5 padding so it kind of adds that little gap between. And then let's make the text to, let's go lower, something like 35. And then this, we're going to rename it saying, save your deck by pressing save your deck after building it. Very simple and straightforward. We can add in a little animation for that into the add-in. Guess counters text, is that what it is? Let's go ahead and bring this all out. Put this guy at the bottom. We just need to do a render opacity, so we're going to go ahead and then copy this render opacity and then just paste it in here. Starts off at 0. It's going to be 0. Let's push this up so we can see it. Scroll the way up and okay, it just shows up right there. So we can make sure that this is not there anymore, right? So, and then here, we want to make sure that this render opacity is still 0. And after this, we can actually add it in here to add the render opacity to 1. So it will go 1 by 1. Okay, so we need to make sure that this render opacity is set to... Interesting. This render opacity is set to 1 for some reason. Okay, there you go. So now it's going to show up. That will show up, and then it's going to do that. Let's move this here. So we get the counters in first, and then the rest of it. Okay. So now if we press play, everything should show up 1 by 1. Okay, excellent. So that looks pretty good. Now in our deck collection here, when we are doing our show battle deck, after the tutorial cleanup, we want to now go ahead and get the save deck border, and then we're going to set visibility to visible, just like that. And we need to make sure that this is underneath the tutorial canvas because we don't want the player to start clicking on the buttons. So just like that. So we're just going to reorder it so the tutorial canvas is all the way on top, so the players won't be able to click through it. So let's go ahead and press play, decks, this is our intro, and then we're going to walk them through the master deck. All right, and then we're going to press next, and then you can see the save deck is available. And yeah, save your deck after building it. That shows up nicely. And now when we press done, you can see how our deck actually resets and everything comes back to normal. And this save deck button is now available to click. So let's go ahead and change the hover color for the save deck. Okay, so that would be the save deck underscore button. We're going to name it nicely. And the tint of this, we're going to make it a little bit more brighter. Press OK. And this one, we're going to change the color up a little bit. So it has a more yellow tone to it. Something like this. Okay. All right, and we're going to now, once this is all done, we now need to let our game instance know that we have already showed the instructions, so we don't have to show it anymore. So in the event graph, actually, after showing the battle deck, and when the player, tutorial cleanup, we actually have created that function for tutorial cleanup. So here, once we're done our cleanup and everything, so we're going to just do a quick delay, just so that not everything runs on the same frame. So we can do 0.2. This is perfectly fine. We're going to get our game instance. And actually, we have a helper function for game instance. So we can get game project, get project. There you go. Get game instance for project Zeno. And then we're going to go ahead and set deck intro shown. And then we're going to go ahead and enable this. Well, set it to true. And then we're also going to go ahead and say update deck intro shown. So this is the function that I build behind the scenes. So if I go into this function, what it's going to do is it's going to get the save reference and it's going to set it to the deck intro shown as true. And then also obviously the normal variable in game instance. It's redundant here, but it doesn't hurt. And we can go ahead and save the game. All right, so that takes care of that. So now to test it, and also in our event construct, I made it so that whenever this widget gets built, it's going to check to see if that deck intro shown is active in our game instance. If it is, if the condition is false, then it's going to show that handle deck intro. If it's not false, if it is true, that means we have already showed the intro, so we don't have to we don't have to show them the deck intro anymore. So we press play, go through the decks, go through the tutorial for the deck, press next, and then you can see the filter. Not filter, sorry, the instructions. Oh, this done button is actually showing up way too early, so we gotta actually fix that. And when we press done, basically that gets rid of the actual intro. So now if I go in here and press decks, we're back in the decks. We don't have the intro anymore. If I close it and if I open it up again and go into decks, we no longer have the intro showing. And this is exactly what we want. We want to show the intro only once. One thing that I would like to do is go into the battle deck and go here and then set this visibility back to collapsed again. So the button won't show up until all of the text on the screen is actually shown. Perfect. This looks great. Now we need to create some more cards so we can actually see 30 different cards there. So we can go to our third person deck building folder. Oh, we have another viewer. Hey, how's it going? Feel free to say hi in the chat. I'm actually waving here. Like I don't have the camera on, but obviously, doing a wave to you here. All right, so we're gonna build a couple more, let's say core cards. So we have the SMG, we have a tank. Let's make one for the grenade. So we're gonna go ahead and make this a grenade. And then make it like rare. Doesn't matter. We have to create one of each anyway, so we will make it rare. We need to name this as Hellburst. That's all we're going to name it. We're not going to make it any more longer. And then if I search for Hellburst, I should be able to have an image that I previously imported. So that would be this one right in here. Like the card ability is to lob a grenade at the closest enemy group. Well, I don't need to say group because it doesn't really throw it at a group. All right, so compatible hero, we have that set up. This is great. That's no longer a projectile or ballistic, so we can just go ahead and turn that off. And in our deck for Bellica, we can just go ahead and add in the grenade rare as well. Okay, wicked. We need to also create a lot more stat cards, so we can go to our passive, and then under common, we have the eternal draft. We want to be able to make more, so we're going to go ahead and copy and paste this one more time. And then we can name this stat common 1. That's fine. And then let's go ahead and look for another one, eternal spirit. So there you go. So that's another one, passive stat common. Perfect. Now we can close this. And then let's go ahead and duplicate it one more time. And this one's going to be, let's see, passive to Castle Rook. All right. Okay. So we can do that. Hi there. If you're new to the stream, say hi. You can drop a hi in the chat. All right. Castle Rook is now set up. So we can go ahead and close that. And we can create another. We should actually put in diff folders. So let's make this as common cards. And then we got ourselves some uncommon cards. And rare. Then legendary. Followed by epic cards. Okay. We can actually make sure that it is structured properly by just going here and then doing, I think you're allowed to do hashtag. No, you're not. So we can just do one dot, no, dash. Okay, there you go. One dash common. There you go. That should work. So this would be 5 dash, right? And then this would be 4 dash. Let's make this one 3, and then this one to 2. So this way, they're all in the order of the rarity. We can take all of this common cards and then move it over here. And then the next one that we're going to do is common underscore 4. Oh, no, 3 is fine because we've completely skipped 3. Wow. All right. We can actually go to the folder of all the passive cards. There you go. So we have done Eternal Spirit. We have done, we need Kingsword. There you go. Kingsword is one of the starting cards. Kingsword. We'll do King's Sword. There you go. Compile. And now we can copy and paste this into a 4th card. Let's go ahead and close out Kingsword. So what are we missing? Templar's Glove. There you go. Templar's Glove is another card. Okay. Save it. We can close this guy out. We can go ahead and copy and paste this. And what else are we missing here? We have Undying Vigil. Hi there. If you're new to the stream, say hi. All right. So Undying Vigil is done as well. So let's go ahead and what else can we do? Oh, Tome of Hope in March. We have 2 more to go. So let's go ahead and then copy and paste this into, no, this would be Tome of Hope. You can actually search for Tome of Hope here. All right, and then save it. Now we can just go ahead and copy and paste this into March. The March. Save it. All right, so I think pretty much we got all the common cards set up. So let's go ahead and confirm. We have one for Templars. All right, so we have all the common cards set up. Now we just need to go ahead and set up our cards for uncommon. So let's go to uncommon. Ooh. And let's drag this uncommon card in here and move it. Now we have Persimmon set up in there. So we're going to go ahead and create another one. And we can go from the top. Elder Verdure will be another one. There you go. It's already set to uncommon, so we don't need to touch that there. Let's go ahead and then paste this again. The next one is Emerald Guardian. Ooh, I like that card. Emerald Guardian. Go ahead and press save. If you're new to the stream, feel free to say hi in the chat. I'm just building a survivor type game with deck building elements to it. So I'm just building on the decks and stuff right now. I'm setting up all the different types of cards. So right now I'm setting up all the stat cards. So these are the uncommon. So I'm just going through one by one and then setting up these cards. So next one we're going to do is Sky Spirit. So we can go in here and then we can set up Sky Spirit. There it is. Okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Sky Spirit. Okay. And then we got ourselves the next one, which is Verdant Maw. Perfect. Oh, Maui. That actually is pretty cool, Maui. But yeah, Verdant Maw. And then I think that's it for all of the green cards that I have images for. Yeah, that's basically it. So now we can go ahead into our rare cards. So let's go into rare. And Polarity is one of them that we set up. So we can actually start with Arcane Infusion. Save it. We can now go ahead and copy and paste this and then make another card. This would be for just a blue ability. I think I'm just going to name this as Hexworth. I think this is what I named it. There it is. Okay, Hexworth. Let's just do that really quickly. All right. Save it. And we can close this guy. And this one, we can actually set it up to be Evergrowth. There you go. We have another card. Let's make it ever 2 words or just 1 word. Nope, just make that G capital. Just looks better. All right. And we're gonna do Frost Resolve next. So copy and paste this, and then we're gonna go ahead and name this Frost Resolve. Let's name this as Frost Resolve as well here. Perfect. You can copy and paste this, and the next one that we're going to do is Frozen Bastion. There you go. Frozen Bastion. Hey there, thank you very much for stopping by the stream. Feel free to say hi in the chat so I know who you are. And if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, the next one, we did the hex width already. We did polarity. We're going to do the azure veil. All right, so we can go ahead and copy and paste this and go in there and then name this azure veil. There we go. So that finishes all the rare stat cards. Now we can go into the legendary stat cards. Oh, I lost that one guy too. Or guy or gal. Whoever you are, thank you very much for stopping by. Okay, so this one I have the Raverin set up. So let's go ahead and then duplicate this. What are we going to set this up to? Ethereum. There you go. Oh, what did I do? Stop it. Stop it. There you go. Ethereum. Save it, and then we can go ahead and close. Next, we're going to do the Amethyst Guardian, so we can go ahead and copy and paste this. Amethyst Guardian. I think it would make sense if I actually name the folder names the same as well, the file name, so it's easy for me to open up a stat. But I would need to come back in here later. Do I need to? No, I don't think I need to come back in here later for now. So these passive cards don't have to have a specific file name. So we have done Amethyst Guardian. We're going to do Eclipsed Rebirth. This is another cool card. All right, that's another legendary card. Next, we're going to go ahead. We don't need this Eclipsed Rebirth anymore. And what's the next card we have? Oh, Nightfall Ascension. Ooh. Should I name this Nightfall Ascension or just call it Nightfall? I think Nightfall itself is like pretty cool name for this. So I'm just going to leave it at Nightfall, not put in the Ascension. Next, we're going to go ahead and then do Nightwing. Let's make it one word and then name it like that. So Nightwing. All right. And the next one that we need to do is Raverin's already done, so we need to do Void Ascendant. So we can go ahead and name this Void Ascendant. And then there you go. We can just do Void Ascendant here as well. Go ahead and close this, and we can go get the 7th one, which is Vortharian. So Vortharian. Vortharian. That's a cool name for this card. Epic. All right, so legendary cards are done. Now we just need to go and do the epic cards. So we're going to go ahead and move it in here. Which one did we do? We did the Crystal Heart for the epic card. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. One by one, we're just going to go Crimson Guardian here. So that would be Crimson Guardian. Press save. All right, we don't need Crimson Guardian anymore. We're going to do, we've already done Crystal Heart. We need to do Ember Wing now. So we're going to go ahead and copy and paste this. Name this Ember Wing. And then go Ember Wing. There you go, Ember Wing. We can close this out. I think I sound okay. All right. So after Ember Wing, we need to do Heart Glass. Okay, there we go. Heart Glass is another one. So name it. It's a 2-word. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. We need to do Life Forge. That will be the next one. So let's go ahead and then Life Forge. And also name this Life Forge. So that should give me, oh, Life Forge. There you go. That should give me the image for it. Let's go ahead and save it. Close it out. Let's go ahead and copy and paste. And the next card that we need to do is load collie. All right. So that would be load collie. We can go ahead and close that. The next one we need to do is Magamore crystal. Magamore crystal. All right. Save that. Close it. Next we need to do is Orgeddon. So that's actually a really cool name for the card, Orgeddon. Us. Orgeddon. This is actually inspired by the Orgeddon from Monster Hunters. It's just this red fox-looking thing. Such a cool animal. It inflicts like bleed on you and stuff. Orgeddon, I think that's what's called Orgeddon. That's where this name is actually coming from, in case you're wondering. I think we pretty much did all the epic cards, didn't we? Yeah, everything is done. So that's it for all the passive cards. So if I now go into the character and then let's say I actually have all of this. So let's go ahead into our epic, take all the epic and then just drag it into the elements, right? And then go into all the legendary and then drag it in here. Rare, let's get all of them into the array. Not augment cards, oops. Uncommon. I just want to make sure everything looks okay, so that's why I'm going in this route. Taking all the cards and putting it in and then awarding the player the card. So for this, I need to quickly go ahead and delete the save file for the deck data. And then if I go to the main menu and then go into decks, I should see all the cards available. Okay, so the main thing that I'm looking for in this type of setup is to make sure that all the names are within where it's supposed to be. Like Templar's Glove has a spelling mistake. So there's an E at the end, so I can just quickly go ahead and fix that. So let's go into the passive card. I guess this is where it would help to have the card named properly outside of it. So I don't have to go through every single one of them, trying to find... Oops. All right. Where's Templar? Okay, there you go. So that's Templar's Glove. So let's go ahead and fix that. I'll fix it the next time when I open this. Other than that, all other names actually looks good and it's sorted out so that it is top to bottom, where actually it's going bottom to top where the epic cards are on the top, which is the right thing. We want to do epic card on top. If you're new to the stream, feel free to say hi. And then let me know what you think of this deck binder that I actually have set up here. If you have any comments for it, please do let me know and I'll be more than happy to take it into consideration. So I can see that all these cards, the images are showing up very well. So if I transfer it over to our battle deck, we can see that those images are showing up properly. So which is good. I do not see anything out of the ordinary. If you do notice something in the chat, let me know. But for the most part, I think the passive cards are done. We can obviously add more and more passive cards in the future. But one thing I noticed is that there are legendary cards actually having only one stat to it. That shouldn't be the case at all. That should not be the case. So we need to go check the legendary cards again one more time. So let's go here. Let's go back to legendary cards and check the first one. It is set to legendary. So that's proper. For some reason, it is only giving out one stat bonuses for us. So if I go to my rules for the cards, yeah, see, it's supposed to have guaranteed 4 lines on it, but I only am seeing 1 line and 2 lines. So I need to take a look at why that is happening. So I will take a note to the side so I can go and verify that. But for the most part, the uncommon cards have 2 stats, and then the stats are going all the way up to, like, I see 12, so which is good, or 13.3 here. Legendary cards is actually only going as far as 9. So there's definitely some sort of an issue that I need to take a look at. So let's take a look here really quickly. We can actually go to the bottom here. All right, it's way at the bottom. All right. Okay, so this is the function, generate the procedural. So let's see, template. Translate the rarity first. So I think maybe it's the translating of the rarity. Exotic is, oh, okay. So there's the problem. So the translate rarity, I didn't translate the legendary rarity. So that makes perfect sense. So if I go to my deck types, make sure Xeno rarity, I do have legendary here. So I can just go ahead and copy that. And then go back over to the deck component. And then right after rare, we can just go ahead and then copy this line over. And then let's go back. Paste this, and then legendary here would be to return legendary here as well. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to add the legendary, so it was treating it as a common card. So because that's the default here, I set the default to a common card. So now with that done, so we can just go ahead and close this. So next time when we recompile the code and come back, the legendary cards will have its proper stats. We can actually do that right now really quickly. So let's go ahead and close this really quickly. And let's compile the new code. Let me make sure I didn't make any syntax error here. Okay, everything looks okay. Well, I will know in just a second. I see one additional person in the chat for a little while now, so you can always feel free to say hi or hello. All right, we're just going to let this compile. Okay, that compiled well. It does take a minute for all the compile to finish, which it did, and then now the engine's actually loading in, so it's going to be soon. Soon. So 96% compiling all the blueprints. There's a crap ton of blueprints in here, so makes sense as to why that takes this long. Okay, so we're back now. So if everything went well, I should be able to delete my save file, right? Yeah, I should be able to delete my save file here. Because if I still play the game right now, it's going to show legendary with the 2 slots. So if I close this out and then delete my save file really quickly, and then now if I press play, okay, we can go ahead and close this. I accidentally pressed enter instead of deleting it. So now if I go to my decks, you can see, there you go. The legendary cards now has 4 lines of benefits. Some of them have a 5th line, which is perfectly fine. So let me know in the chat if you actually like how these cards look like and all the different bonuses that it actually gets. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and edit these filters so these cards starts reacting to it. But before that, I want to now add in a little number right beside all of these text to show how many of each cards you actually have. So we're going to go to our deck collection. This is actually pretty straightforward. So I can just go ahead and then let's go ahead and lock up a lot of these things in here because we don't want to accidentally start moving other elements of this. So battle deck is all locked up. All right. So we're going to go to this master deck collection. And I think this is the header. Okay, search options. Yeah. So let me rename this. Search option underscore border. All right. So that should open all of them up. And the text here where it says all, I'm going to go ahead and then rename this to search underscore all underscore txt and make it a variable. So this is how simple it is to actually add a text to it. So in our graph, every time we go and build the master deck, as soon as we're done setting the list items, we want to go ahead and refresh it. So the search all text, I'm just going to grab it here and then I'm going to set text and I am going to make it so that in the in text, I'm going to do a format. So now I can actually put in whatever I need. So first we want to show is all, and then we want to show a bracket. Let's do a bracket, right? I think a bracket would work. And then these two little parentheses. And then here I'm going to put in X or number, whatever you like. It just shows up here as the X here. You can actually put in total cards, right? It doesn't really matter. This is just for this. And then at this point, the master deck array, I can actually just get the length of it and then just plug it in here. So how this would work is if I go in game and then go to decks, you'll see all, and then we'll say it's 55 cards. Hey, MG, how's it going? Oh, that's perfectly fine, dude. Thank you very much for stopping by again. I really enjoyed your company last night, and that's perfectly fine if you can't stand long. I'm gonna have this stream up, and then the video will be posted on my channel if you're interested in watching later. But I did set up all the passive cards here and added it to the binder, so hopefully it looks good. Give me your feedback. All right, so I'm gonna move right back into this. So this all button right now, it's big enough, but it's actually kind of stretching outwards. So one of the easiest way to fix that, to keep everything in place, is you can take that search option and then you can wrap it with a scale box. What this will do is it will make sure that everything sits inside of the button. So let's extend the scale and then let's set it to scale to fit. So now if I press play and if I go to decks, you'll notice that it's right in the middle. So that scale box would just do the job, that you don't have to go and like tinker with it. It will just take care of things as it is. So we're going to do the same thing for the rest of it. So we're going to take the text core and then we're going to go ahead and wrap it with a scale box. And then we're going to name this as search underscore core text, make it a variable. We're going to do the same thing for everything else before we move on. So we're going to wrap this with a scale box, name this search underscore action underscore text. Now it's going to get a little difficult here because these buttons already have a lot of text in there. So let's see how this works, and then we're going to fix it as we go, I guess. So this one is going to be our augment. So this is going to be search underscore augment underscore text. Oh, actually, this is stats. Oops. And then let's make this a variable. And then last but not least, the augment's right here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it with our scale box. And let's make this search underscore augment underscore text. Make it a variable. So now we have all of these buttons. So we can grab the action button. I'm holding down control, so I can just drop it right in here. If you don't hold control, it would just ask you if you want to get or set. But if you hold down control and then drag it, it will just do a get instantly. So we're going to grab all of these buttons and then we're going to do the same thing that we did previously. So here we want to copy these two boxes. Let's go ahead and then paste it. let's go ahead and connect all of this in here. All right. This would be for the stats, core text, augment, search, augment text. Why can't I put it into the target? Oh, this one I made the scale box. Of course I made the scale box. So let's go ahead and then just name this scale box again, and then select the text, and then make that text a variable. That will fix that. So let's go ahead and delete this, and then the augment text should work now. Okay, there you go. And then the action. Wicked. So the action, we're going to go ahead and then set this to action. And this format text, we're going to name it augment. And then this one would be stats. Okay, so now in game, it should start having brackets beside it. So there you go. Oh, this one's actually set to all. Which one is that? That one. Oh, okay. I may have made a mistake. So let's fix that again. Stats is actually core. This is the stats. So we need to set this to stats. Okay. All stats core. Is this the augment text? Okay, so this is the augment text. Let me just put it underneath so I know which one's going with what. No, don't do that. Okay, there you go. All right. And then the action. So now if I go press play, Dex, you can see it has that bracket right beside all of it. Okay. So in the show card counter function, what I did was, no, was it the show card counter? No, in the build battle deck, yeah. So in build battle deck. Okay. Where is it? Show battle deck? No. Actually, we should rename this show master deck underscore tutorial. And then battle deck underscore tutorial. So that will take those two, and then we can just put it into a category for tutorial. This as well. So this would be a tutorial. Okay. There it is. Update battle deck count. So I have a function in here, which is called get battle deck type counts. So now if I were to go in here and go to get battle deck type counts function. So there you go. So I have a battle deck type counts function here, and then I also have a collection type counts function. So we're going to use that collection type counts function. So we can go ahead and close this guy, move him all this way. Let's go ahead and close all the tabs to the right. We don't need too many tabs taking up our RAM space. So in our build battle deck, build master deck, we're going to go ahead from the get the deck component. Here, we're going to get collection type counts. What this is going to do is it's going to give us all the different counts. So the core count, I can add it to the core count here. Augment count, I can add it near. Action will go in there. And then the passive would be for the stats. So now if I press play, you can see that the 55 cards got split between all these three different categories, with 43 cards coming directly from stats alone. But these buttons don't really do anything at this time. So, and then also the search bar don't really do any much. So this is what we're going to do now for today. And this will be the last of the development that we're going to do today before we close off this video. It's already an hour. So we want to just make sure that these filter options are working fine. Now, I did build a filter function, so we're going to test that today. So you can see that I have get filtered collection. Right. For hero, it doesn't really matter because we want to make it so that all the cards are working with each other hero. So for now, this is kind of like okay. But I do have type filter -1. The reason why this is -1 is because if I go to my Xenotech deck types, there it is. The core cards are actually set to 0. And then this is augment is 1, and then this is 2, and then this is actually 3. So -1 is technically all the cards. So this is what we're going to do. So we need to make it so that we can put a comment around this. But before that, let's create a new function for it. Like we don't want to just show as it is. So we're going to go and create a new function, and then we're going to go filter deck by type. And we're going to add in, what should we add in? We should add in an integer. Okay, let's do an integer here. Or we can then go type int. There you go. And then we're going to name it integer. And then what we can do here is in the description, we can actually say which one's which. So if I say -1 equals all, then 0 equals core, 1 equals augment, 2 equals, I believe this is action and then stats, if I'm not wrong. Action and then passive, yeah. All right, so we can go back to where were we? Okay, wow, we're right here. Okay, don't mind me. So action, and then we got 3 equals passive. All right, so now if I hover over it, I can actually see that -1 equals all, and so on and so forth. So we're going to do a switch on integer, and we're going to add in 4 pins, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to leave the default pin. Default pin is going to show all, right? So here we're going to go ahead on 0. Oh, actually, we need to add one more, right? Let's name this, the last one, as -1. No, we'll name the first one as -1. So in the start of index, we can make it -1. So core, augment, action, and then stats. And then default would be same as -1. Okay, so now what we're going to do is off of -1, we're just going to build the master deck as it is, right? And off of default, we'll be doing the same thing. Build a master deck. Nothing really fancy. Now we're going to create a new function, and we're going to say filter deck. No, helper function. So this will be helper underscore filter deck. How do we want to do this? So let's try building it, and then we will go from there. So first, we're going to go ahead and get our deck components. And then we're going to go ahead and get our master deck collection. Right? And then here, we want to now set this into, we want to go through it one by one. So we're going to go for each loop. And we want to actually set this into a local variable, so we can hold it temporarily. Oh, hi Team Wolf, how's it going? So we're going to make it into a local variable. So we're going to call this local underscore deck, right? Or we can name this local underscore master deck or filtered deck. There you go. Filtered deck. So we want to go ahead and delete this for 1 second, drag it in one more time, and we're going to go ahead and then clear it. So this way, every time we go through the filter function, this deck is going to be cleared. So now what we can do is we can drag off of this array element. We can break the card instance. And then using the persistence ID, we can get the card type. So for that, we're going to get the deck component one more time. And we're going to get card UI data. And then connect the persistent data line in here. And then when we break this, we should get something called a card type. Perfect. And then this card type, we can actually make it into a input variable here. So let's go ahead and input variable, and then we're going to name it card type. And then this is of type Xeno card type. So we can go ahead and then make it Xeno card type. There you go. There it is. And then now we're going to do a enum to enum check. So enum equal enum. So, and then here we're going to go ahead and do get card type. And this would actually get us this input that we are adding back here, card type. So instead of dragging a line all the way down here, I'm just simply opting to just do a get, and then it will actually do the same thing. And now what we're going to do is, if it matches the card type of whatever the player has selected, then we're going to add it into our temporary array. So we're going to go to our loop body and then go to our branch, right? And we're going to drag in our filter deck, and then we're going to do an add, right? And then this array element is what we're going to add in here. And let's go ahead and then add it. So now we have a filtered array element. Oh, actually, we can even do it one better. Because we're creating the tiles, instead of actually going for the card instance structure, we're going to actually switch this over to the filtered type. Yeah, I think that's what we should do. I think that'll be way better. So let's go ahead and delete this for 1 second. So let's clear all of this, delete all of this, and then just unplug this. Perfect. This is not going to work anymore. We do not need this anymore. Sorry about that. So what I'm doing is, if you look at the tile view, we're already building a array. If I go into my build master deck. So here I'm already going through the deck collection, and I am building a master deck array right here. So we can actually filter this master deck array. So we're only doing it for the cards. We don't need to do it anymore. We don't need to create a new variable or anything like that. We just need to filter this array of the tiles, the tile view tiles, and then just show it as that. So how that would work is, if I now go in here, let's find that variable. Not tile view elements, I think it's under elements. No, oh, arrays. There you go. Let's get the master deck array, and then we can promote this to a local variable, or we can actually just set this to our deck card. Oh, list array. So there you go. And then now we can go ahead and plug this in. We don't need this guy anymore. So we can just go to our master deck array, just like that. So now this already has all the tiles, the individual cards. So we don't have to rebuild a lot of the functionality here. And here we can just go ahead and then do a get function. And if I'm correct, I should be able to get that UI data. And then I can now break it. And I should have the card rarity. There you go. So this one makes it much more easier. And then now we can go ahead to our filter deck, and then we can do an add function to this. So this would add that individual tile instead of having to rebuild that tile. Because if we were to do the old way, we would have to rebuild the tile again. But this way, we don't have to rebuild the tile anymore. Sorry if it was a lot confusing. But yeah, so once we're done building that filtered deck, we can now go ahead and then do the same function as our build master deck, the final function, which is to show this right here, set list items. And yeah, so let's go ahead and paste that. And we're going to go ahead and connect this. And instead of connecting the master deck array, we are going to connect our local filtered array. I will show this to you how this is going to work. This will all make sense as soon as we plug this in. So if it is -1, we want to call in our helper filter deck, right? And then set this to core. And then now if I were to copy and paste this, now I can set this to augment and then connect this to 1. And then off of 2, I can now connect this to action and then do it one more time and then set this to passive. So 2 is going to be for the action cards, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 2 is going to be action, and then 3 is going to be our passive cards. So let's go to our designer here, not designer, sorry, event graph. And let's do a new graph for all the button presses, right? So just to keep it clean. So this would be all button graph. So let's go back, and then there should be a clear button here. So we're going to go ahead and cut this out, drop it in here. And is there any other buttons? Tutorial, master decks, this is all fine. Add to battle deck, this is all fine. We can actually create a new graph for tutorial. Only graphs. Oh. GRAPHS, graphs. Right? So, and then we can take our tutorial master deck, this, add to battle deck, like these functions that we are doing for tutorials purposes, and then we can just move it into tutorial graph. This would just keep everything very, very clean. That's the whole point of this, moving graphs around. Pre-construct can stay, construct, refresh deck, perfect. So now we can go into our button graphs, right? Yeah, button graphs, and then let's go ahead and find our buttons. So let's do the core button first. So we can just go ahead, click the core button, and over here where we can do a on click, this is going to put it in the main graph, which is a little annoying. But anyways, we're just going to go ahead and cut and paste it in here. So here we're going to call in that helper function that we created, right? So filter by deck, and there we go. And then the core is set to 0. So if I hover over it, you can see -1 is all, 0 is core. So now if I were to go ahead and press play, go to decks, and if I were to press core, you will notice that it just got filtered by core cards. Now all doesn't do anything, action doesn't do anything because we haven't set it up yet, but we know the core card is working. So now all we have to do is go to this all button and then get it on-clicked, augment button, on-clicked, clear. Actually, we didn't need the clear. Okay, anyways. All right. Clear button, we don't care about this at this time. So we're going to take all of these buttons. Oh, actually, it added it to the button graph. I am happy. Perfect. We can do the filter, filter, filter. So this would do right here. So this one's going to be -1 because this is the all button. Augment button is going to be for 1, right? And then the stats button is going to be for 3, actually. We need the action button. Action button's right here, and then we're going to do an on-click on the action button. And then we can go ahead and copy and paste this, and then set this to 2. So if I did this correctly, if I go back into the decks, if I press all the cards are right here. And if I press the action card, you should see the 3 action cards. So we can verify that it's 3 cards. If I press stats, you can see that it is showing just the stats card. Augments, showing just the augments. Core is just showing core. All should reset it, so it's showing everything. Perfect. Just the way we like it. All right, excellent. All right, folks. So that's about an hour, 15 minutes of the tutorials. Well, not really tutorial. I'm building my game. Sorry, force of habit. So I really do appreciate all of your support today. If you're gonna watch it, if you're watching this in the future, please feel free to wishlist my game on Steam, and we will continuously do these streams to raise some money so I can actually finish the project by supporting myself as well. So thank you very much. I really do appreciate your time, and have yourself a wonderful day.